this is part of the Urban Fellowship series that we're working on. We have Nadia Francisco, and she's gonna go through her amazing project with all of you. I'm just gonna leave now and just sit there and listen to the amazing project. Nadia, please share your screen and tell us a little bit about yourself and your project.
Okay. Hi, Hiba, thank you. I'm going to share my screen. Right, so the project is called Community Land Trust as a vehicle for economic growth and affordable housing. So I'm Nadia Francisco, and I was under the mentorship of Carl Peterson. So small introduction to me. I just recently graduated from a master's in international cooperation and sustainable emergency architecture. So I have an architectural background for 3 years, but my passion for urban design made me to become an urbanist and a researcher as well. So I have a keen interest in supporting sustainable, climate responsive, and community-oriented cities. So one word to describe me, this takes me back to the beginning of the fellowship when we were asked to describe ourselves to a city. So my word is Barcelona. So like the city, I have a bit of organization in me, but I appreciate art and I love to have outdoor fun. So yeah. So now a brief introduction to the project. So now we know that land value, it increases over time, mostly due to the demand, because land ultimately is a limited resource. Also, when we have development that happens over land, this causes the value of the land to increase. Moreover, we have housing prices that fluctuate due to, for example, real estate developments that happen around it. So as a result, the increasing land value causes affordable housing to be speculative. That's why sometimes we have housing that is empty, and combined with rapid urbanization, there's the development of urban sprawl, we have highly dense neighborhoods, and we have informal settlements. So now, part of the steps to help in informal settlements has been to aid in rehabilitation, renovation, and those kind of schemes. But these kind of schemes have frequently led to the loss of the community that forms in that space. Additionally, there is always a fear of being evicted because the land doesn't necessarily belong to those who live on it. So this brought about the realization that land security is extremely important. So here comes along community land trusts. So now what are these? So they are, for the most part, they are non-profit organizations. So it has an open membership. It's compared of a 3-part structure in their organization. So they have an open membership to those who live in the geographical area of the community land trust. Another membership to those who live outside of the community land trust. And a third membership for the stakeholders and those who assist in funding. This can also be to government organizations, depending on how the community land trust is formed. So what happens is that the community land trust essentially takes the part of land off the market and it controls the fluctuations. It's not affected by fluctuations in the market. So because the land is taken off the market, it's leased to homeowners who live on the land. So homeowners can own their land minus the land underneath. Sorry, they can own their home minus the land underneath. And this reduces the affordability of their home. It increases the affordability of their home. So additionally, the community land trust can also be given to those who have businesses on the land for their use, but they will gain in the profits that happen on that land. So going to this quote coined by Robert Swan, who was working with Ralph Bordossi, and he was one of the founders of community land trust movements. So he termed it as the community land trust is a legal entity, a quasi-public body chartered to hold land in stewardship for all mankind, present and future, while protecting the legitimate use rights of its residents. So now we notice that they see chartered, which means they have a charter that explains what the community land trust should do and how it's structured. They also have stewardship, which means that they stay with homeowners who own the land for the first time. They own the housing for the first time, and they try to maintain this affordability for a long time. So now this is extremely beneficial for communities that want to stay together to form relationships with each other from being together for a long time. Small relationships like kids being silly and making friends and being questioned by adults, these kind of communities that form from living together over time. Mostly they consist of middle to low income settlements, but also additionally, we also have farmers. So now it's come to the public attention that farming activities have reduced since 1991. It used to be about 44% or so, but in 2019, it's reduced to about 27%, according to World Bank data. So these are usually small farm owners who don't own enough, but their land value increases a lot. So in the end, they decide to sell their land to make some profits. So community land trusts, perhaps it could aim to aid farming communities. So this is what my study aims to look at. I'd like to look at three particular questions. The first one is, how valuable are community land trusts as vehicles for economic growth and affordable housing for select communities today? The second one is, what can we learn from successes and failures of previous CRTs? Now, most of the information is for the USA, but other countries will have different laws according to their context. So that's something that will need to be looked at. The third question is, how can a community land trust model benefit or not benefit new cities that come? So the study is organized into two phases. The first one is the desk study, where we have research on primary and secondary sources and case studies, as well as the comparison of charter city models to community land trust borrowers, as both of them have charters. The second phase is we select a community and we develop tools for collection of data. So once the tools are developed, we visit a site, we collect data, and then we round up, analyze the data we've collected, and we present the findings in the form of a research paper, as well as a sketch of a hypothetical city for that community. So now, preliminary findings, looking at how the charter city models and community land trust models integrate. So now both of them have charters which adapt to the cities that they are in according to the barriers that are existing, and they create their own. Also, both of them focus on alleviating poverty, and both have the ability to look at the purchased land from an ecological and urban planning perspective. Now, charter cities models are extremely beneficial because they aim to create jobs for the many. They target unemployment as a whole, and as a result, also provide housing and so forth. Now, community land trusts aim to preserve affordability over the long term for housing. So one of the questions I was trying to see was how both positive points can merge. For example, in future cities, or if future cities need to integrate communities, for example, so forth. So how can this affordability be maintained for the long term? So the goals and outcomes is to explore how affordable housing and economic growth is achieved for community land trusts, and also to identify the selected communities and see the possibility of creating a community land trust or to integrate the community within a city. So we can explore how this creation of a community land trust or the integration process can be done for selected communities using both of the guidelines, and to present the research findings. So one of the other outcomes was the sketch of the community neighborhood, because different communities have their own outlook of how they would like their city to look. we can see that across different communities around the world. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Nadia, for taking us into a very quick journey into your project. We're again going to link the project down below in the comments. And yeah, and this is just one of a series of many fellows presenting their amazing work and the amazing project they're working on and parts of the CCI Fellowship for the year 2021. Again, thank you, Nadia. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and goodbye.